All right, we're being joined right now by a man who is finally going to get a fight. And I say this because I've been bugging him for like 2 months now, asking him what's going on, what's going on. And last week, things were heating up with the potential matchup with Neil Magny. And at UFC 250 on June 6th, this fight is going to happen. And it's a big one for Anthony Rocco Martin for a number of reasons. And he joins us right now, live from Las Vegas, Nevada. Rocco, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, buddy. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. It's good to have you here. Let's just get one thing out of the way right off the bat. I hear that you are in agreement with Tyson Chartier, your coach, about his remarks that I look like Rob Corddry. Is that accurate?
I agree. I do agree. It was also, I was telling him it's your, the subtle like expressions that you guys like move a little bit, the way you guys, it's something the way you guys move a little bit as well as whereas I feel like is the most noticeable.
Yeah, none of us can really like sit still, so I kind of see where you're coming from. Everything has to move a little bit, so but I'll give you that one. This is not now. It's two people who think that, but I know you're excited for this fight. But I guess the excitement aside, how relieved are you that a fight has finally been booked with Neil Magny or anybody at this point?
And it was tough. It's a wild ride, thinking that because I was scheduled to fight on the 25th. And I thought I was going to slide in on the 18th. And then obviously, I was thinking the 9th, 13th, or 16th. And they're like, all right, you're fighting the 25th. I'm like, all right, or the 23rd. They're like, you're fighting April 23rd. Then April 23rd gets moved to April 30th. Now they're like, all right, you're definitely fighting. We want you to fight on the 30th. So I'm like, okay, I'm ready to fight. Just give me an opponent. And then they're running into trouble with Ramadan, with a couple guys turning down the fight. So I was like, this isn't good. And then my manager finally called me. He's like, listen, they offered the fight to Neil for the 30th. So I'll let you know. Then he texts me. He's like, and I text him. I'm like, what's going on? We're coming up on close to 2 weeks for this fight. He's like, June 6th, done deal. So then I called him because I'm confused. I'm thinking the 30th. So I call him. I'm like, what's going on now? I'm confused. Is this real or? And then I started getting contracts in the mail or in my email. Started getting contracts. UFC starts reaching out for flights. So I'm like, damn, this thing's done deal. So I was pretty jacked up. I'm happy, man. I think it's the exact fight I think I deserve, and that can really push me to the next level.
I mean, you had told me and you sort of alluded to that there were some different things discussed for you. So it's not like things were not attempted by the UFC, but much like I was bugging you, asking you what the hell was going on, how much did you and your team annoy your good friend Sean Shelby trying to get on one of these cards?
Oh, I think there was one point where I think my manager was like, I'm not going to reach out to Sean for a little bit here. He's like, I got to stop reaching out to him because he's, I think he's getting a little annoyed with me. So I was like, oh, okay. But then it was weird that all of a sudden, like 2 days later, he's like, I think we got you a fight. But then that fight fell through. And then, so it was good. It was good. He was definitely probably getting a little annoyed. But that's my job is to fight. My job is to get a fight and to go out there and perform. So I'll do whatever I have to. If I got to keep calling him and annoying him, at least he knows I want to fight. Because I even tried to jump in on the Hall fight. When Jacare got pulled out, I was like, listen, I'll come down there and fight if you want to switch the fight to Wednesday or Saturday, and I'll come down and do this. Because that's how I just needed to fight. I was just like, listen, I'm training. I'm ready to go. It's anyone, anywhere. So that's where I was at. Was
there any movement on that suggestion?
Sean said no right away. He's like, nah. He's like, no, I'm gonna get you a fight. All right, just relax. I'm gonna get you a fight.
So how is that relationship with Sean Shelby these days? That relationship has been pretty rocky over the years. You've talked about it before, but one of the things you wanted to do was repair that damage that you had caused a couple of years back. How has that process been, going over the last 6 or 7 months or so between you and Sean? Yeah,
I mean, I think it's a process. I think that it's a process that I got to keep pushing, and to keep just keep on that good side. It's sometimes maybe in the past where you always think it's everyone versus you, and now I realize that I need Sean on my side if I want to go where I want to go. So I'm gonna keep just go out there, whoop some ass on June 6th, put on an exciting show, and this is my last fight of contract as well. So hopefully Sean enjoys it and that we could work something out and get a good deal going and and really start making a push at the end of the year and into going into 2021.
This reminds me a lot of the Lorenz Larkin situation because he stepped in on the last fight of his deal on short notice in August of 2016. One fight left on his deal, took a short notice fight with Neil Magny at UFC 202 and went in there and delivered what many believed was the best performance of his entire career, finished Neil in the first round, and then went into free agency. Were you aware of that similarity that you have with Lorenz Larkin and how coincidental this all is?
I did not know that, no, but my goal is to be in the UFC. You know what I mean? My goal is to be the UFC champion, not be in the UFC, but my goal is to be the UFC champion. So as long, you know, I've told people many times, as long as I feel like I could be a champion, I'll stay. I'm trying to stay in the UFC. But the second I feel like my dreams are gone of being UFC champion, then I'm a little bit more willing to test free agency and really see what my worth is.
So this is the first time that you're going into a last fight on your deal, is that right? Or have you been there before?
I've done it. I think I've done it once or twice already. And every time I back them, they back me into a corner. I come out fighting. So I put on a hell of a show. I think the Jake Matthews was my last fight on my contract. So that was a big one. And then what was the fight? It was the fight right before Ahmed Mercer was my last fight of the contract as well. So I usually, once they back me in the corner like this, I put on my best performance. And this is a big one, man. This is the one that I've been looking for. It's the opportunity I needed. And I don't know how they could even think about letting me go if I run Magny over. So
how would you describe the feeling right now? You know, you're fighting a perennial top 15 guy. That's big enough. One of the biggest names you fought in your career. And then combined with the fact that this is the last fight on your deal, is it nerves, excitement? Like, how would you describe it right now?
I would say more excitement. You know, I know that it's a big opportunity. You know, I think it's not even, I'm not saying a big opportunity because by saying that, I feel like I'm getting a favor, but I genuinely feel like this is the fight I deserve. It's a fight that I've earned. And so I'm excited that I've taken the right steps to be where I'm at and put myself in this situation. And realistically, everything's in my control now. You know what I mean? Everything's in my control. So it's like, you want a new contract? We'll go out there and whoop some ass. You want a new contract? Go show them what you're worth. And really just puts me in a great spot where I feel like I whoop Magny's ass, that they have to give me, they got to come at the table with something that sounds good. You know, they got to come up with that nice ribeye. So I'm thinking, I'm being like, I think that everything's in my hands. You know, it's in my control. I rather feel like I'm in control of my own destiny than feel like I'm relying on Sean or relying on someone else.
So like we stated at the top, you're in Vegas right now. Your fight's not for another week and a half plus as we record this. Is there a reason why you guys headed out there so early?
Yeah, well, I mean, we have we're just going to start using the PI. I got Tyson out here, comes in tonight. And then I got my longtime coach, Brock Larson, and then Jakal will come out next week. We just thought that it would be nice just to come out here and get a little change of scenery since I was stuck up in Atlanta for so long. And then so get a little change for these last 2 weeks, use the PI as much as we can. And really now it's just about staying healthy. I've been training for like 14, 15 weeks straight for this fight. So it's kind of like not to stay in Atlanta and get burnt out and try to think about the fight too much, to come out here, enjoy, get some sun, and then just maybe go on some hikes later at night and really just enjoy these last 2 weeks before the fight.
So how is the PI? I know they opened up last week as we record, and they've been sort of spacing things out. And now you got fighters in town getting ready for this Saturday that are going to be using it from time to time. Do you know like how the schedule is going to work to get you guys in there? How's that all going to play out?
So from what I've heard, originally it was going to be anyone that isn't in fight week would be mornings, and then fight week would be nighttime. But then I just heard Tyson just reached out again that fighters, anyone that is, once you enter fight week, you're not going to be able to use the PI. So it's not like the PI is going to go to them. So no, the guys that are going to fight on the 30th won't be at the PI, it sounds like.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And you're staying in an Airbnb, I take it?
Yeah,
in the background?
Airbnb until Monday. Then I'll be in the host hotel. Yeah, we got a nice little. Tyson was dead set on needing he's like, we need a hot tub. I'm like, Tyson, we're in Vegas, you know, right? It's supposed to be 100 degrees every day. He's like, no, we need on. So me and Brock are here yesterday, and we're playing cards outside. We're both burning out, and I'm just like, Tyson. And then at nighttime comes and it gets a little cooler, but like last thing I'm gonna do when it finally gets cool is get in the fucking hot tub. So he's like, so I don't know. Tyson may be the only one in this hot tub here, but it's good. We got a nice little setup. We got some bags over here, cornhole, and a nice little setup in the house. So I'm excited.
So next Saturday, you're going to fight Neil Magny. You lost that fight to Santiago Ponzinibbio in that main event in November of 2018, was finished in the 4th round. Then he had the USADA thing happen, which he was cleared of in the end, which is great for him. He was out for over a year, and then he returned in March. And in my opinion, he looked fantastic against Li Jingliang. What did you make of that performance in March after 15 or so months away from the octagon for Neil?
I mean, honestly, I feel like it's the first thing that pops into my head. I feel like most people's head when you hear Neil Magny is big and good cardio. You know what I mean? Like he's tall with good cardio, and I don't think he's got the greatest boxing. I don't think he's got the greatest kickboxing, or he doesn't have a skill set other than cardio where I feel like he's at elite level. You know what I mean? So I think that matches up very well with my skill set. Anyone where I feel like you're not a specialty, I think that it matches up very well. He's a very good fighter that can overwhelm you. You know what I mean? I think he overwhelms a lot of his fighters, and that's how he gets a lot of his victories. Is he just overwhelms you with constant activity. And I have a game plan for that. I got a game plan set in place for that, and I think that it's going to bring out the best fight in me. I normally like to fight on the outside. So it's a fight where I feel like I probably won't be able to stay on the outside the whole time, and it'll be a different type of fight that I've had. I think it's going to be an exciting fight because just his style of fighting is going to bring out the best of me, and it's going to bring out. I don't think he's going to be in a boring fight because he's got so much pressure, so much constant activity that you're forced to fight the entire 15 minutes. So I'm excited, man. I think it's a great matchup for me. I've wanted this fight for a long time, and I think he knows I've wanted this fight. We met a couple times down in we found the same cards in Brazil, and we talked a little bit. Really nice guy, you know what I mean? And then when I'm at 70, obviously I'm looking at the top 15. He's in the top 15, so I'm chasing anyone that's top 15. And so I brought up his name a few times, and he went on social media, unfollowed me right away. And so I know he can act like he doesn't know who I am, or doesn't act like he's been following me or not. But he's definitely was hearing what I was saying, and he's never called for the fight, never wanted the fight. So I'm excited. I think that it's a perfect fight for me. Perfect time too.
You mentioned the sort of the size discrepancy here, because I mean, you look at it on paper, he's got the 3 inches of height on you. He's got that 80-inch reach, and obviously that's gonna be a big advantage on paper here. Have you fought someone who has had that kind of a reach advantage before? Because kind of like going back, you either have the longer reach, or in the rare occasions that you didn't, it was like 2.5 inches or so. This is like 6.5 or 7.
No, I definitely think that this is by far the biggest guy I've fought. It's I fought one guy and I was like 6'1", 6'2" at 55 actually, but other than that, I was like 6'3". So it's gonna be a different experience, getting in there with the guy with such long arms. But I think that he's not the greatest boxer, you know what I mean? Like he's not the greatest at using that full 80. Like he'll use length because he knows he's long, you know what I mean? But I don't think he uses it as to such a significant advantage that it would be much different than a normal fight. If I just, it just might be a spot where I got to be in a little bit closer than normal, because I feel like I'm always, like you said, the longer one, and I'm fighting from the outside. I'm trying to always hit, not be hit, because I feel like that's the name of the game. But this one, I'm going to get hit. I already know I'm going to the fight. I know he's going to hit me, and I just got to be prepared for that mentally and get in there and slug it out.
Are you excited to fight in that empty arena sort of setup? Hear the leather hit skin, hear all the coaches, hear all the commentators. You excited for that different environment?
It's gonna be different. I've never fought on something like that, so it's gonna be. I mean, Brock will talk a little crap and be like, "Well, you fought the first night about 5 times, so it's pretty much no one in the arena." That's what he says to me all the time. But no, I don't know if there'll be much difference with once you're actually in there. I think it'll be weird once you're going into the cage and no one's there. It's so kind of quiet and you can hear everyone talking. And then leading up until that bell rings. And then I think it's just going to be a fight. You know what I mean? It's going to be a fight or I've been telling people just a high glorified training session. You know what I mean? So it's, I'm excited, man. I don't know if we'll be able to hear it because you can hear the strikes. I've been watching on the TV. It's pretty cool. Like where every time you hear a strike, you can hear it, you know, and you're like, ooh, shit, that might actually hurt a little bit. And so I don't know if I'll be able to hear my strikes if I'm landing or how that works, but I'm excited to get in there and scrap it out against, like you said, a legitimate top 15 fighter and that's been around, has beaten a couple world champions. And I just think that everything's lined up for this moment in my life.
I don't know if you saw this or not, but you guys are going to be fighting in a little bit smaller cage than you're accustomed to be fighting. Do you think that plays into things a little bit more into your advantage because of the size discrepancy?
Yeah, I definitely think that plays into my advantage. You know, I think that I think he has to fight me from the outside if he wants to win. You know, I don't think I know that there's no way he's a better grappler than me, and that I don't think he's got the power I have. So I think a smaller cage definitely plays into mostly if I feel like I got to start pressuring, you know, if I got to really pressure him to get after him, that it's a lot easier to cut corners and to cut off the cage. And it definitely plays a part in this fight. I don't want to hear his excuses afterwards or nothing, but he might be using this one as an excuse, you know.
You've obviously had some big and important fights in your career. I think the Johnny Case one sticks out because there was like a ton of bad blood there. It was a fight that was like a couple of years in the making. Of course, the Damian Maia one was probably the biggest name that you've shared the octagon with. But with all things considered, last fight on your deal and everything, is this the biggest fight of your career, even more so than the Maia one?
This is by far the biggest fight of my career. This is the most meaningful fight of my career up to this point. And obviously, if I would have beat Damian, it would have been, you know, everything would have been a little different story right now. But at this moment in my life, this is by far my biggest fight, my biggest opportunity, and I'm excited, man. This is my moment. I really think that I've taken the right steps to get to this moment. I've taken the right steps in my training for this moment, and it's really just everything's in my control now to go out there and control my own destiny, and I can be more excited for that type of opportunity and that type of not stress, but that type of pressure. You know what I mean? That's the type of pressure I like, is where I know that it's in my control now. You know what I mean? It's not out here got to beg for a fight or I'm trying to talk my way into a fight. I know I'm set up for battle against a legitimate top 15, and it's my time to prove to the world that I belong here, and that 2020 and 2021 is my year.
So now that you have this control of your destiny, what's sort of this scenario that you've laid out for yourself, beginning with next Saturday, June 6th, UFC 250, and then sort of the aftermath that will come with that? What's that sort of scenario that you've laid out for yourself heading into fight week next week?
Well, for now, I'm just going to enjoy these next 2 weeks, you know, train here, and then just enjoy the time with my coaches from all over, man. We got 3 corners of the U.S. here with Midwest, East Coast, and down south. So I'm looking for that West Coast trainer now. But outside that, I'm just gonna enjoy the process. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna whoop Neil Magny's ass. That's for sure. And I think that if I'm not ranked in the top 15 after I whoop Neil Magny's ass, then I think that they're crazy. I don't know what's going on with the rankings at that point. And then it's time for, you know, my manager and Sean to get together and work out a legitimate deal. But I don't really want to sign a deal unless they have an opponent. You know what I mean? I don't want to fight anyone outside the top 15 because I just think that'd be regression instead of progression. You know, so it's at this point in my career, it's all about progression and one step forward. And really, everything starts on June 6th. Is just that first step forward and just in control of. Obviously, then I control everything, you know, because if I want to stay, I can stay. If I don't want to stay, I don't have to stay. If I don't feel like they're giving me the right fights, then there's no point in me staying, you know. So realistically, I just need the the right opponent is kind of the only thing that I'll be looking for in the new contract negotiation. So I'm not gonna. The money to me is a secondary thing, but obviously I don't want to be ripped off. But money to me is secondary. It's definitely I'm focused on being the UFC champion, and that needs to be a progression in opponents. So that's going to be the main key after this.
So you're hoping, you don't want to really explore. I mean, if you have to explore other options, you will, but ideal situation, you win, you and Sean pop a bottle of bubbly, verbally agree to stick it around. And then obviously, depending on the fights presented, you want to stick around and be a champion in the UFC, not 100%.
Yeah, 100%. That's my goal. And I think that, this is a great fight for that, because I know that some heat's been on me about being a little bit boring maybe in the past, and that I maybe play it safe a little bit. And it's hard not to play it safe if you feel like you're winning. You know what I mean? Like it's hard. Like, oh, my game plan's working, and this is the game plan my coaches have set up. So I'm listening to my coaches, and now you're saying that it's boring because I'm winning, and then I still don't take more chances to do what? So that part. Mostly when there's so much on the line for a win, it's like you lose a close fight to Damian Maia. What happens? Nothing. Like you're going to Russia to fight someone that no one knows of. That's tough as hell. And so it's like but you win against Damian. All of a sudden you're what, top 10, fighting a top 10 guy. So that's a huge drop off. You know what I mean? So you can say they can say what they want, but losing in this sport is huge. You know what I mean? But this fight's gonna be exciting. I know that for a fact, just because I know the way that Neil Magny approaches his fight game and how he fights, and I think stylistically it's made for a very exciting fight.
Yeah, it's a good one for that card. Last thing for Lego, I'd be remiss since Mother's Day just came and went. How is your mom doing? Because I know that was a big thing heading out of your last fight. You had a great post-fight speech about her. There was a lot of pictures on social media, you guys hanging out and doing all these incredible things together. How is she doing?
Yeah, she's doing well, man. She's doing good. She's she's a little not depressed, but a little sad, obviously, because she's stuck in the house, man. The last thing you want to do is be like, know that time is clicking and that you can't do anything or go enjoy yourself. And everyone's telling her that she's crazy because she's on chemo pills and stuff right now until they stop working. But then, so it's like her immune system's down. So obviously, I was a little worried about her getting corona as well. So I'm telling her, Mom, you got to stay home, stop messing around. Because I haven't even been visiting her either, because I don't want to be getting on the airplane and then going right to her, and then last thing I want to do is feel like the guy that killed their mom, And so that part sucks a little bit, but I think that everything's gonna start. We're coming around the corner now, and I think that obviously I'm about to fight, so it'd be nice to be able to take her somewhere, or at least I'm gonna go visit her for sure after this one. I have to, mostly with the UFC doing all these tests on us with the COVID, which will be nice to know. Something they're going to do on maybe before the fight even, or something like that, to test us, to see. That'd be nice just to know. After that, I'd feel kind of safe. I'll be safe in the airport. And then obviously it's time for me to go see my mom and my daughter.
Yeah, it looks like you're going to get 2 swabs up the nose, tickling the brain from everything I read. You're going to get one like right when you get there at the hotel. And then I think you get one right after weigh-ins, like the night before the fight. So yeah,
it doesn't look pleasant the way how hard I take that thing up there.
Yeah, I don't envy you at all in that sense. But I do envy the fact that you're getting a big fight on a big card. June 6th, UFC 250, Anthony Rocco Martin taking on Neil Magny. Last fight on your deal. And appreciate the time, man. Enjoy the rest of your trip out in Vegas. And all the best to you for the next week and a half or so and in the fight on Saturday, man.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. And maybe we'll chat after this.
Yes, for sure. Thanks, man.
Okay. Awesome, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.